The school beauty becomes everyone's darling thanks to a tattered jade pendant. Just because I said the school beauty looked ordinary, I was subjected to bullying by her and her entourage. She had no idea that I am also a darling of a group, a darling of the evil spirits. Shang, do you really want to go? Can you take us with you? The crying woman, with tears streaming down her face, asked me, leaning on the doorframe. The ghosts of all sorts of grotesque shapes also nodded repeatedly, their faces full of anticipation. I packed my bags while refusing without even turning my head. No. Why not? Aren't we your beloved little darlings? The crying woman wailed loudly, her mouth opening wider, almost splitting her skull in half. My little darling, I turned my head and saw this scene. My heart almost stopped beating. Although I had witnessed the terrifying appearance of these ghosts countless times, I still could not get used to them. My name is Shi Shang, the youngest daughter of the spiritual medium family from the southwest. Since childhood, I have had strong premonitions, and ghosts would unconsciously gather around me. Ghosts like me very much and often come to me to ask for a moment. You could say I am the darling of the ghosts. When I was little, they scared me to death, leaving deep psychological trauma. Even though I have grown up, I still try to overcome my fear of ghosts. Because of that terrifying past, from a young age, I resisted learning magic, determined to be just an ordinary person, and absolutely would not accept the family's legacy. Shang, why are you going to study so far away? The ghosts gathered around and asked. I replied, the family requested me to enter into a political marriage, and it's already the 21st century, yet they still force people into such arrangements. The evil spirits said, but the heir of the Liu family has strong spiritual intuition. If you and him have a child, that child will surely be a once-in-a-century spiritual genius. I am speechless. Marrying a stranger just to give birth to a genius child, what kind of twisted logic is this? This time I enrolled in a university very far away, partly because I didn't want to inherit the family's medical legacy. Another important reason is that the family is forcing me into a political marriage, with the aim of producing a genius with spiritual intuition. How wonderful! Shang wants to leave us to go to university. What's so great about university that you have to study there? When I was alive, I was a university lecturer. Shang can study with me. There are many ghosts in the big city. When the time comes, Shang will have new ghost friends and forget us old ones. We will be abandoned. Damn it! If I find out which ghost dares to forget Shang, I will definitely smash his head. We are the darlings that Shang loves the most. The evil spirits gathered behind me whispered among themselves. I ignored them, pretending not to hear anything. The wailing spirits behind me are my familiars. Previously, they insisted on following me and serving me. I initially refused them because they looked too ugly, but my family believed these evil spirits were the most powerful. Having them by my side would deter the bloodthirsty ghosts from bothering me, so I reluctantly accepted them. This time, I will leave my family, cast off the past, and go to a place where no one knows me, to live a simple life. Of course, I cannot bring these spirits with me. After packing, I slung my backpack over my shoulder and boarded the train, filled with anticipation. Along the way, a sudden landslide occurred, causing me to arrive at school 5 days later than scheduled. When I, weary from the long journey, finally reached the school, and found my dormitory room, I saw countless handbags, designer clothes and shoes, expensively priced, were piled on my bed. My other roommates had already left, so I moved the items on the bed to the desk. There was so much stuff that I had to put some of it on the floor. When I had finished tidying my bed, the bedroom door opened, 2 female students entered, chatting and laughing, and exclaimed when they saw me, "Hello, our new classmate." "Hello, everyone. My name is Shi Shang." I quickly greeted them politely. Heaven knows how much I longed to befriend ordinary students. "My name is Li Qing, and my name is Fan Xiaoshui." The 2 female students introduced themselves, and the atmosphere was very harmonious. "Shi Shang, who do you think is prettier, these 2 girls?" Li Qing handed me her mobile phone. I had just finished making my bed and was still sitting on it when I took her phone. On the phone were 2 portrait photos placed side by side. The girl on the left wore a white dress, had very long black hair, and a very ordinary face with no distinguishing features. The girl on the right wore a red dress, had yellowish-brown hair, and a stunningly beautiful face. "Do we even need to compare?" I asked with a smile. "I told you so. There's no need to compare at all. You can tell who's prettier just by looking, Fan Xiaoshui said with a sly smile. I returned the mobile phone to Li Qing, saying in a relaxed tone, everyone with eyes can clearly see the girl on the right is extremely beautiful. In an instant, the dormitory was silent. I looked at the two people in confusion. The two were silent for a moment, then asked me, "Who did you say was more beautiful?" "The girl on the right, who else?" I answered truthfully. Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui's expressions became incredibly strange. "Hey, is your aesthetic sense broken? Clearly the girl on the left is much more beautiful." I was bewildered, but the girl on the left looked very ordinary. "What are you guys discussing?" A strange female voice sounded. A long-haired girl in a white dress walked into the dormitory. She was the girl in the picture on the left. One of the most embarrassing things in life is when you are bad-mouthing someone and they suddenly appear. Fan Xiaoshui introduced that girl's name is Zhou Ying. I shyly greeted her. "Why are you so rude? We were all standing below, yet you sat on the bed talking to us." Zhou Ying said discontentedly. Her attitude was too arrogant. The accusation leveled against me made me stop singing. I originally intended to offer a few justifications, but considering I had just enrolled, I shouldn't ruin the roommate relationship, so I quickly climbed down from the bed. "My shoes!" I saw the items on the floor. Zhou Ying exclaimed in shock. "Why did you put my shoes on the floor?" I asked back in confusion. "Shouldn't shoes be placed on the floor?" "Who said that? These are limited edition shoes." Zhou Ying angrily picked up the shoes, wiping off the dust while looking at the items on the desk and complaining. "Why did you mess up all my belongings like this?" Her belongings were extremely numerous. I was afraid of dirtying her handbags and clothes, so I carefully placed them on the table. On the chair, the remaining items, because there was truly no place to put them, I placed them on the floor. Moreover, the items placed on the floor were all shoes and shoe bags, with no possibility of getting dirty. At this point, I understood. She heard me commenting on her looks earlier, so she was displeased and deliberately picked a fight with me. I'm speechless. Seriously, this is my territory. You put your things in someone else's spot and now you're complaining? Hey, what kind of language are you using? Before I could finish speaking, Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui were already furious. Clearly, it was your fault. And yet you dare to yell at me so brazenly. I remained silent, my gaze indifferent. After listing my supposed crimes, Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui added, "You should take a look at yourself. A rustic girl from the countryside like you dares to cover your face so arrogantly." My jaw nearly hit the floor. The students I encountered on my way here, although their eyes were clear and naive, were all polite and knew right from wrong. Why are these three so peculiar? On the first day of school, my roommates and I already had a conflict. In the following days, the other three ganged up to isolate me, for example, deliberately discussing where to eat, making plans to go out, or shopping right in front of me, excluding me from the group. Being isolated like this, anyone with a slightly weaker psyche might fall into a prolonged depression. However, from childhood to adulthood, I was often threatened by evil spirits, so my mentality is quite resilient. They paid no attention to me, and I couldn't be bothered with them. My calm attitude thwarted their isolation plan, making the three of them even more displeased. On Friday, a Lamborghini pulled up near the dormitory. A handsome male student got out and waited beside the car. Zhou Ying, surrounded by people, emerged from the dormitory and got into the Lamborghini, igniting cheers from the onlookers. As I was leaving school and passing by, I stopped to watch the scene, which was just like a scene from an idol drama. Li Qing, standing nearby, immediately boasted, "Don't you know, you country bumpkin? Zhou Ying's family is extremely wealthy. She is both beautiful and kind. The person just now was her brother, who dotes on her immensely." I was confused. How is his being doted on any of your business? Why are you so smug? Li Qing was immediately speechless. I never expected my dream university life to be like this. Disappointed, I rented an apartment near the school, intending to move out of the dormitory and start live streaming. Previously, I wanted to attend university far away, but my family disagreed and cut off my living expenses. However, I still had money. For years, to avoid studying magic, I deliberately immersed myself in games. Editing game videos became unexpectedly popular. At the peak of its popularity, I became a game streamer on a live streaming platform. Later, when forming a gaming group, I met a formidable female streamer named Gothic Mao Mao. So, we decided to try playing games together. The two of us helped each other grow our fan bases in our respective live stream rooms, and our income became stable. Just as I was about to tidy up the house, the doorbell rang. Here we go. I went to the living room and opened the door. There was no one in the hallway outside. I looked around, thinking someone was playing a prank on me, and closed the door to go back inside. As soon as I closed the door and turned around, I saw several ghosts standing in the living room, though I didn't know when they had appeared. One had its head detached, another had broken limbs, and one had an incredibly long, protruding tongue. Ah, I was so terrified that I screamed. "Miss Shi Shang, you smell so good," the tongue ghost said, stepping forward and speaking respectfully. "You know me?" I asked, still unable to collect myself. The tongue ghost replied, "Your divine servants are worried about you, fearing you might cause trouble with other ghosts outside, so they asked us to look after you." My veins bulged on my forehead. Who has the time to cause trouble with other ghosts? "No, thank you," I said loudly. "Yes, you do," the ghost insisted. "For example, you might need someone to help you clean your house." They vanished from the room, and a moment later, several people entered to help me clean the house and prepared a sumptuous feast. They were possessed by spirits, making it indeed very difficult to clean the house. Lately, I have been returning to school every night as usual. In the evening, I returned to my dorm room and found Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui both absent. In the room, there was only Zhou Ying. "My teacher," she said with a smile. "Shi Shang," I approached and asked, "What is it?" "Give it to me." "Take it." I accepted it reflexively. A cold sensation, a stream of malevolent energy penetrated my skin, and in an instant, my mind became flustered. "Shi Shang, who is the most beautiful and lovely person in the world?" Zhou Ying asked me. Her entire being seemed to radiate light, as if an immortal had descended to earth. Her once ordinary face suddenly became incredibly beautiful. Every smile, every frown, caused the observer's mind to waver. "Oh my God, she is so beautiful and lovely." The thought of loving her arose within me. As soon as that thought arose, the malevolent energy within me was purged by spiritual power. I quickly regained my senses and hastily tossed the jade while down. The jade pendant clattered onto the floor. "Ah, my jade pendant." Zhou Ying quickly picked up the jade pendant, asking, "Shi Shang, what do you mean by that?" Just then, Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui pushed the door open and entered the room. Seeing us struggling, they asked, "What's going on?" Zhou Ying spoke first. "I was showing Shi Shang the jade pendant. And yet she threw it on the ground. She almost broke it. Shi Shang, how could you do such a thing? You are truly unreasonable." The two of them scolded me, siding with Zhou Ying. I rubbed my temples and stared intently at Zhou Ying, saying, "Your jade pendant has a problem. You are the one with the problem." A flicker of horror crossed Zhou Ying's eyes. I frowned, warning Zhou Ying, "I advise you to discard that jade pendant quickly. Wearing it for too long will lead to trouble." "You madman," Zhou Ying turned away angrily. "She's jealous," Li Qing said. Zhou Ying's brother came to pick her up that day. Shi Shang stood downstairs, staring blankly as they left. That expression. Tisk tisk, she's probably never seen a Lamborghini before, has she? Also, her eyes were fixed on Zhou Ying's brother. "I'm speechless. Who's jealous?" I said directly, "Zhou Ying, your jade pendant will make others like you. But the price you'll pay is your life." Zhou Ying's expression froze. Fan Xiaoshui angrily said, "Shi Shang, you smashed Zhou Ying's jade pendant. And now you are bullying her. Are you crazy?" Fan Xiaoshui and Li Qing went mad, calling me rustic, country bumpkin, wicked heart. Zhou Ying just sat aside without saying a word. A few days ago, I was still angry about being insulted by them. But today, hearing Fan Xiaoshui and Li Qing scold me, I felt nothing. Because both of them were manipulated by the jade pendant. In this world, how can there be so many wicked female villains? They are just ordinary students, stupidly meddling in others' affairs even when there is no conflict. Only characters created in Fan Xiaoshui's stories are like this. The atmosphere in the dormitory became tense. Half an hour later, my mobile phone rang. "Hello," I answered. "Who is it?" "Miss Shi Shang, you forgot to bring your things. I'll bring them back to you." The voice on the phone said, "Are you available to come downstairs and get your things?" It just so happened that I didn't want to stay in the dormitory and interact with others. So I used this excuse to go downstairs. Many students were gathered downstairs. A Rolls-Royce was parked on the road. A butler dressed impeccably in the British style stood in front of the car. My teacher, he handed me a box of exquisite pastries. I immediately realized that this butler was possessed by a long-tongued ghost. Confused, I said, "I didn't buy any pastries." The butler winked at me a few times. He whispered, "We heard that the ghost in this dormitory said, the people in your dormitory are alienating you, calling you a country bumpkin, and even saying you drool over Lamborghinis and handsome men. This feud, we must settle it for you. I do not need to." The butler continued, "Handsome men are a bit hard to find, so please bear with it for a while. In less than 3 days, we will definitely find a man more handsome than Zhou Ying's brother. Then we will bring this man to your doorstep." I hastily refused, "No need." The butler said seriously, "No, we must find one and give her to you. What is that girl Zhou Ying? Colluding with others to bully our little princess. She has a handsome man, you must have one too." Taking my words, the butler immediately got into the car and quickly drove away. I returned to the bedroom under everyone's astonished gaze. Because of that Rolls-Royce, I became famous. Zhou Ying's group looked at me with very strange expressions. They tried every means to inquire about my background. I replied, it was just a normal scene, and less than 2 days later, rumors about me began to spread throughout the school. They said I was being kept by a sugar daddy. I don't know who started the rumor, and more, I was ostracized. The most hateful thing about rumors is that they only require a mouth to spread, but it takes a lot of effort to correct them. I was very angry and considered breaking my vow, resolutely using the ghost to investigate the truth, and find out who was slandering me. I was sipping my water when a ringing tone signaled a call to my phone. I casually answered, "Hello, Miss Shi Shang. I found a man for you, hurry up and come get him." Peeved, I almost spat out the water I had just drunk. I quickly put down my glass and rushed downstairs. The Rolls-Royce reappeared beneath the dormitory. The British butler stood beside the car door. Next to him was a tall, slender young man, with a handsome face. The contours of the young man's face were ethereally beautiful, so handsome it took one's breath away. He stood frozen in place, his face as cold as ice, not moving at all, as if petrified by magic. The butler walked over to me, and whispered, "Look, miss. Isn't this man wonderful? You actually captured a man for me." I quickly whispered, "Hurry and straighten him up. No, we worked hard to capture such a gem for you. Please inspect the merchandise first." The butler pulled me in front of the man. "Lift his shirt, take a look. He has a perfect set of abs." I looked at him, his physique, very handsome. Before I could compose myself, the butler took my hand again, and placed it on the young man's chest. Not only is he handsome, but his physique is also top-notch. "Are you satisfied?" I squeezed reflexively. "Oh my, the sensation is incredible. He must have trained rigorously." No, what am I thinking? That would be too shameless. "Have you touched enough?" The young man suddenly spoke. His voice was deep and pleasant. "Ah!" The butler and I both yelped in fright and stumbled backward. "Are you still awake?" The butler's eyes nearly popped out. He casually glanced at me and nodded. I stood beside him, extremely embarrassed. Many people had gathered around the car. I had to follow. The butler approached him, whispering, "Brother, pretend to be Shi Zhang's boyfriend for a moment. You can have as much as you want." The young man raised his eyelids. "Can you provide me with accommodation?" "Yes," the butler immediately agreed. His thin lips curved slightly, gradually broke into a smile, walked up to me and took my hand, gently placed a kiss on the back of my hand. "Shi Shang, I love you." The surroundings erupted in excited gasps. It was clearly just acting, but I suddenly blushed, and felt so awkward I wanted to scratch my leg. I'll go upstairs first." I found an excuse and quickly returned to the dormitory. The butler drove the man away in the car. A moment later, the news that I had an extremely handsome boyfriend, and moreover, very rich, quickly spread throughout the school. The rumors of regret naturally collapsed on their own. In the dormitory, Zhou Ying's expression was extremely complex. I sat at the desk. As soon as I touched the open book, a cold, malevolent energy seeped into my fingertips. Zhou Ying stood up, and asked me, "Shi Shang, am I beautiful?" My mind became flustered, and then returned to normal after a moment. Angrily, I grabbed the jade while clamped in the book, and said to Fan Xiaoshui and Li Qing, You two go out. Hey, on what grounds are you telling us to leave? Li Qing was about to speak when Zhou Ying interrupted, get out. Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui were unwilling to leave the bedroom. What are you going to do? I held the jade pendant and questioned, you want to use the jade pendant to manipulate me again? Zhou Ying asked, why aren't you affected? I sneered, because I am a spirit master, no wonder. Zhou Ying understood, reached out, and returned the jade pendant to me. I shook my head angrily, no, you cannot keep this. With that, I slammed the jade wall onto the table. Don't, Zhou Ying rushed to stop me. I held the jade pendant and asked her, do you know this jade pendant is an evil artifact? Zhou Ying bit her lip, so what? I was astonished, you know it and still use it. Zhou Ying suddenly became agitated, what do you know? How could someone like you, beautiful since childhood, understand my feelings? I was very chubby since I was young. I weighed 80 kilograms in middle and high school, and my face was very ordinary. Everyone bullied me, calling me ugly. I had a crush on a senior. I didn't even dare to confess, only secretly wrote in my diary that I liked him. As a result, after he found out, he called me disgusting. Because of my ugly appearance, I was ostracized by everyone. My classmates went out to eat, hang out, go shopping, they never invited me. Even if they invited me, it was only to help them carry their bags. Even my parents and brother didn't like me. Therefore, I vowed, I want everyone to like me. I want to become the beauty in everyone's heart. I want to win the adoration of the whole world. Later, I received this jade pendant, my wish came true. Hearing this, my heart pounded. I asked her, ever since you got this jade pendant, you started enjoying everyone's affection. You want everyone to like you, as soon as someone dislikes you, you would make others ostracize them, and spread false rumors about that person? Zhou Ying bit her lip. I said, previously, you were very distressed because everyone isolated and ostracized you. Why are you now doing the same thing to others? Zhou Ying cried out, why can't I do this? Those people can do it, why can't I? Looking at her, I felt very helpless. A person who was once a victim, after gaining power, turns into a perpetrator of evil simply for revenge. This is the saddest thing in this world. Zhou Ying stepped towards me. Shi Shang, give the jade pendant back to me, I beg you. I shook my head, number. Zhou Ying cried and said, Shi Shang, do you know how painful it is for an ugly girl? If you don't return the jade pendant to me, and force me to live the same life as before, I'd rather die now. As soon as she finished speaking, she rushed towards the balcony, climbed over the railing, intending to jump. I was terrified, and quickly rushed up to hold her tight. Don't do anything crazy, give me back the jade pendant. Seizing the opportunity, Zhou Ying snatched the jade pendant from my hand, quickly entered the blind room. I looked at her, Zhou Ying, you are not ugly at all. I pondered, fearing she would continue to act foolishly. I said very seriously, the first day of school. I saw your photo and said your face looks quite ordinary, that hurt you. I sincerely apologize. Zhou Ying's steps altered. I said, your brother came to pick you up that day. You were wearing a white dress, light makeup. You actually looked very beautiful. Zhou Ying continued walking, without looking back. My request for an exception was approved. The next day I moved to a boarding house. Zhou Ying stopped bothering me, and helped me carry my belongings downstairs. If it's because of me, then don't move out. Zhou Ying said gently, from now on, we will not interfere with each other. I replied, it's not because of you. With the help of evil spirits, I moved all my belongings to the boarding house. As soon as I entered the house, I saw a familiar figure sitting on the sofa, slowly turning a page of a book. I was astonished, my eyes wide open. Why are you here? The young man glanced at me before continuing to look down at his book. The long-tongued demon snapped back to reality. Shi Shang, have you forgotten? He pretended to be your boyfriend. The condition was that you would provide him with accommodation. I suddenly remembered this matter, couldn't help but question him, but why is he here? The long-tongued demon smiled ungratefully. After all, this house was left vacant. I thought it shouldn't be wasted. I was speechless. I will live here in the future. How can I live with a stranger? The long-tongued demon looked at the man, then at me, saying, Shi Shang, he is not exactly a stranger. Oh, really? The long-tongued demon said, his name is Lu Qingshui, the young master of the Lu family among spirit mediums. one of the most powerful spirit mediums, and also your fiancé. Husband, fiancé, I was stunned. The young man closed the book, thin lips curved upwards, looking at me. Hello there. Just got engaged, the following period. I hope you will guide me more. I started the long-tongued demon. What is going on? Tell me. You can ask him yourself. Lu Qingshui sat on the sofa, calm face. I just arrived in City C today and was immediately bound by your spirit-controlling technique. Brought before you, I heard you requested me to be your boyfriend. I stared at the long-tongued demon. The long-tongued demon retracted its head and neck, and walked to Lu Qingshui's side to curry favor. The floodwaters washed away the Dragon King's temple. We are all family. Sorry, my apologies. Who is family with him? This matter, I rubbed my hands, forcing a smile. It's all a misunderstanding, just a misunderstanding. I quickly opened the hidden door in the living room, extending my hand in the most sincere posture. Apologies for the intrusion. Please leave. Lu Qingshui remained motionless, his voice calm. I have just arrived. I am unfamiliar with this place. I find this place very agreeable. My fiancé, you once promised to arrange accommodation for me. Are you going back on your word? I find him utterly shameless. But then again, he was brought before me by that long-tongued demon. I saw his abs, and touched his chest muscles. It seems I am even more shameless. So I fell silent. After all, this apartment has 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, which is suitable for 2 people. According to Lu Qingshui, he was sent by the clan to track down the whereabouts of the 3rd uncle. His 3rd uncle's name is Lu Mingshen, rumored to have left the Lu family a long time ago, living outside, and had a girlfriend. Later, his girlfriend was murdered. Lu Mingshen turned her into an evil spirit to resurrect her. This act violated taboos. Lu Qingshui was sent by the clan to track down the traces of the 2. Then why don't you go investigate? Why are you staying cooped up in my house? I said. Lu Qingshui replied perfunctorily. I couldn't find them anywhere. You never went out to look. I spent all day reading at home when I found something new. In the evening, Gothic Mao Mao and I quickly went live to play 2v2. I couldn't help but complain. Mao Mao, I worked so hard to escape my family. I wanted to live a normal college life, but unexpectedly, I'm still in hot water like before. Mao Mao asked, what's wrong? I said, we've known each other for a long time. Now I'll tell you the truth. My family are Taoist priests. I'm extremely attractive to ghosts. Ever since I was young, I was surrounded by ghosts. I just want to be an ordinary girl, and live an ordinary life. It was a struggle to get into university. Who knew my roommate would have a jade pendant that repels spirits, and several ghosts would follow me around all day? That's right. Fortunately, I have you by my side. I can feel the joy of being a normal person. I like ordinary humans like you the most. Timer set. The finalists are Zhou Ying and the girl in the photo from when we first met. My roommate asked me to give my opinion. The photos of the 2 girls were made into posters placed along the walkway. The faces and figures of the 2 on the calendar were too clear, but many people seemed to be collectively blind, while around Zhou Ying's poster, there were praise and flowers. She is truly beautiful, like a fairy descending to earth. On the forum, Zhou Ying was voted first place with an overwhelming number of votes. 2 days later, the voting concluded. Zhou Ying was chosen as the campus belle. Many female students rushed into the dormitory to congratulate Zhou Ying. Seeing me return, a flicker of confusion crossed Zhou Ying's eyes, but soon she returned to normal. By 10 p.m., the girls left one by one. I walked over to Zhou Ying. To have so many people vote for you. Zhou Ying changed into a golden crown, and put on a princess dress, looking like a little princess at first glance. She said, so what? The jade pendant is consuming your lifespan. I couldn't help but advise her again. Ultimately, is life more important, or is the affection of others more important? Of course, it's the affection of others. Zhou Ying answered without hesitation. I was extremely shocked. She lowered her head and said, if I didn't wear the jade pendant, they would never like me. They would call me ugly, ostracize me, and bully me. But you're not ugly, I said. I am the ugly one. Zhou Ying stopped and said, without the jade pendant, no one would like me. I felt she was gone. She had clearly lost weight, though not to the extent of a true beauty, but after applying makeup, she could be considered attractive. Yet she always thought she was ugly, that she had to rely on the jade pendant to become beautiful, and gain others' affection. I will think for a moment, then take her hand. But I said, Zhou Ying, I am not influenced by the jade pendant, so my assessment of you is objective. You are truly not ugly, stop denying yourself, okay? So, do you like me? She asked, her eyes full of anticipation. I remained silent for a moment, and finally, not wanting to disappoint her, in the past, you people ostracized me, so if I say I like you now, I fear it would be too disingenuous. However, I now know her past clearly, the past grievances are now erased. As long as you don't go too far, we can absolutely be friends. Zhou Ying's eyes turned sorrowful. In short, don't use the jade pendant anymore. I said, if you truly want to become beautiful, you only need to undergo minor surgery. Zhou Ying shook her head. If I were to undergo plastic surgery and transform into someone else, then even if they liked me, they would only like my fake face, not truly like me. Moreover, even if I underwent plastic surgery, who's to say others would like me? It's uncertain, but as long as I keep this jade pendant, everyone will definitely like me. After the incident, Zhou Ying's attitude towards me completely changed. Before, we didn't interfere with each other. Now she is pursuing me, now she invites me to study together, and to eat together. But no matter how I tried to persuade her, she still refused to give up the jade pendant. She was the queen of the school, commanding attention and admiration. She reveled in the adoration of others. Outside, people would pay for her expenses. Countless male students showered her with expensive gifts. She was surrounded by a multitude of friends. She was perpetually the center of attention, unable to live without this glamorous life. Zhou Ying said, do you know what? Back then, if I said 10 things, not a single one would be heard. If I wanted anyone to notice me, I had to shout and repeat myself endlessly. But now, every word I utter is taken to heart. She said, before, I was invisible. People acted as if they couldn't see me, only remembering me when they needed something done. But now, they all flock around me, constantly paying attention. She said that in the past, I had to do a lot. I had to curry favor with others to gain a little affection. But now, I don't have to do anything, and people will still like me. She said, it's great to be beautiful. Without any price, one can gain paying the affection of countless people. There are people who, simply by being born into wealth and possessing beautiful appearances, do not need to live, yet they obtain things that others cannot achieve even with a lifetime of effort. This world is truly unfair. If the world is unfair, why should I adhere to fairness? Now I am paying a high price to obtain those privileges. Of course, I want to do whatever I please, just like those people. I don't know what else to say to her. After all, from childhood to adulthood, I have never been ostracized by those around me because of my appearance. Although my family members didn't like me much, the spirits took meticulous care of me. Whatever I wanted, they would find every way to get it for me. I have never experienced her pain, so I cannot understand her feelings. But I do not approve of her actions, so I distance myself from her. It wasn't until one day that the photos for our school's campus bell election were posted on social media. The reason for this incident was a discussion sparked on the internet. Which university's campus belle is the most beautiful? Zhou Ying's photo was posted online, and it seemed out of place among the pictures of only beauties. The online community was not swayed by the jade pendant. Someone rushed into the comments. Are universities so short of girls that they elect someone as ugly as this as campus belle? Oh my god, you guys, I'm going blind, everyone. This is called a campus belle? Is that all? Is that all? Just picking any girl would be much prettier than her. The group of people supporting Zhou Ying immediately counterattacked. They exaggerated her fairy-like beauty. Moreover, her emotions were very agitated, unlike her usual self. The two sides argued so fiercely that flowers fell and water flowed. Zhou Ying's photos spread even wider, becoming increasingly popular online. More and more sarcastic remarks arose, accusing Zhou Ying of being ugly. Zhou Ying's family background was exposed completely. Photos of her before losing weight were also posted online. Compared with her current photos, was she really this ugly before? Truly pushing my limits. She must weigh around 100 pounds this afternoon, right? Former classmates also came forward. Zhou Ying was the ugly girl accused by our entire high school. Our class organized a contest to vote for the ugliest girl. She was always chosen by everyone back then. We even gave her a certificate of merit. Yet now she's chosen as the campus beauty. Laughing my head off. Our class had many students back then, so the desks and chairs were a bit cramped. Every time she walked by, she would bump into the desks. She fell sprawling to the ground like a tumbling doll. Back in middle school, there was a very famous incident. During the school's sports festival, because she was too overweight, the marching line broke right in front of the entire school. Her face was already ugly, and she had so many childish antics. She secretly had a crush on the school's hot boy. All day long, she would act coy and take along the path the hot boy would take. Did you think others didn't know what she was thinking? Ha ha ha. The teacher scolded her on social media. I found it incredibly hard to believe. Middle and high school students. Why would they be so malicious? They even organized a ugliest girl contest. And they even awarded a certificate of merit to someone. No wonder Zhou Ying tried every means to be elected school beauty queen. Less than 2 days later, Zhou Ying's personal information was increasingly exposed. Her parents were not successful people as she claimed, but just an ordinary couple. The person driving the Lamborghini to pick her up was not her biological brother, but a rich kid from City C. After the incident exploded, many people flocked to the rich kid's personal page, asking about his relationship with Zhou Ying. The number of people attacking Zhou Ying grew. The language became uglier and uglier. Seeing such words, I was secretly horrified, although she had led the bullying against me. At this moment, I felt worried for her. After school, I went to find Zhou Ying. I looked in the canteen, the dormitory, but she was not there. I asked classmates and learned that Zhou Ying had gone to the CBD square. I quickly took a taxi to the city center. The square was bustling with people. Following the crowd, I saw many people queuing up ahead. As I walked past, I saw Zhou Ying standing in the middle of the square. A sign was placed right beside her. The sign read, "Hold hands once for 50 yuan. Her rich and handsome boyfriend stood behind her. For 50 yuan, many people lined up to shake hands with her. Each time she held a hand, the tall, rich, and handsome man will scan the code to transfer 50 yuan to others. The line of people waiting was very long. I believed my eyes when I saw the jade pendant lying in Zhou Ying's palm. Seeing this scene, I thought she was gone. Using the jade pendant so excessively, something was bound to happen. As expected, after a short while, Zhou Ying suddenly stumbled and fell. The scene became chaotic. Her tall, rich, and handsome brother stood still. His expression was blank. The crowd of crazed individuals who had been chasing Zhou Ying were also collectively speechless. They looked at each other, seemingly unsure why they were there. The square was crowded with people. Yet, not a single person took Zhou Ying to the hospital. I called an ambulance. In the hospital, Zhou Ying had woken up. As soon as she opened her eyes, she uttered her first words. "The jade pendant. My jade pendant." I sighed. "The jade pendant is broken." "What?" Zhou Ying sat up. She hastily searched through the bag she was carrying. Of course, she found nothing. I handed her the shattered pieces of jade. Zhou Ying tearfully touched the broken jade pendant. I asked her, "Do you know why you fainted?" Zhou Ying looked up at me. I replied, "Because the jade pendant absorbed all your lifespan. From now on, you only have a few days left to live. Perhaps you will die from illness. Perhaps you will die from an accident. In short, you will not live for more than 7 days." Fear flashed in Zhou Ying's eyes. She was stunned for a moment, then covered her face and sobbed. "Why did it turn out this way? I only used it for a short period of time." I opened my mouth. I finally swallowed my words. She used the jade pendant so extensively that her lifespan was rapidly depleted. It is useless to say anything now. "Do you regret it?" I asked. "Zhou Ying, let's go." She gave a wry smile. I knew there would be a backlash. I had already prepared myself mentally, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. From the hospital back to the school, my mood was very heavy. Could Zhou Ying know some kind of magic? Why did I like her before as if I were possessed? Me too. I felt the same way. She seemed quite ordinary, yet I felt she was like a fairy. From the school gate to the dormitory area. As soon as I opened the room door, I saw Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui talking. Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui stood up awkwardly. "Shi Sheng, you're back." I nodded. I went into the room to put away my belongings. "Shi Sheng, I have something to tell you." Fan Xiaoshui and Li Qing hesitated for a moment, then walked over to me. "We targeted you before because of Zhou Ying. We are very sorry. We don't know what was wrong with us. You said Zhou Ying was not beautiful. So we were very angry. Zhou Ying was saddened. We will hate you even more." Oh my God. I even said such things. That's right. We rarely scold others. But I don't know what was wrong with us. Li Qing and Fan Xiaoshui earnestly apologized. Their sincere attitudes somewhat eased my heavy mood. I replied, I never hated you. Really? That's great. The two breathed a sign of relief. I packed my belongings and left the school. Bystanders were still discussing Zhou Ying. I opened my phone as I walked. Countless people were attacking Zhou Ying in the article about her. Previously, Zhou Ying used the jade pendant to force others to love her. Now the jade pendant has lost its effect. Those people no longer loved her. They returned with extreme fury. The rich kid's brother declared he would reclaim all his damages. Otherwise, he would sue her in court. Many people also demanded Zhou Ying return their affections. I turned off my phone. Sadly, I returned to my room. Sitting on the sofa, I spaced out. Several ghosts hovered around me. Shi Shang, what is wrong? Is something troubling you? As soon as I looked up, I saw several blood-soaked faces before my eyes and screamed in fright. Then, when Lu Qingxue walked out of the bedroom, he waved his hand. The crying ghosts departed. What happened? He sat down opposite me and handed me a cup of tea. I took a sip. My mind instantly cleared. This jade pendant. I took the shattered jade pendant from my handbag and gave it to him. Someone used this jade pendant to make others adore her. Now the jade pendant is broken. She also had an anaphylactic reaction. The jade pendant absorbs lifespan. Lu Qingxue suddenly realized the weakness. He picked up a small piece and said, I am truly patient. I asked without any hope. Is there any other solution? Lu Qingxue shook his head. The ritual has been completed. The jade pendant is shattered. Of course, it's a long and difficult path. As expected, I turned and went into the bedroom. With complex emotions, I lay on the bed. Although I don't like Zhou Ying, but to stand by and watch her die, I felt extremely uncomfortable. 2 days later, I went to school for class. On the way, I received a call from an unknown number. Shi Shang, Zhou Ying's voice came through. Zhou Ying, can we meet once? I owe you. You've been discharged from the hospital? Yes. We met at a cafe near the school. Zhou Ying's face was deathly pale. Her long hair was disheveled. She looked like a ghost. Zhou Ying, the story is like this. She lowered her head. Now everyone hates me. I can only rely on you. I sighed. Just say what you need to say. Zhou Ying lifted her head. Her eyes were calm. I am about to die now. Recently, I have called and apologized to many people. It's just that some money and gifts have not been returned to them. I'm afraid if I die, I won't be able to repay them. So I want to ask you. If I die, can you return the items to everyone for me? I'm exhausted. I didn't expect her to come talk to me today about this. Zhou Ying stretched out her pale hands. She handed me a notebook. The notebook recorded who gave what gifts and when. Okay. As expected, people like me should remain in the shadows. Even if I traded my life for someone's affection, it would only last for a short while. And then be repaid, Zhou Ying said as she walked away. As she was walking, she suddenly collapsed, covering her face and sobbing. I stood silently beside her, not knowing how to comfort her. A moment later, Zhou Ying stood up again, wiping away her tears. She said, "Let it be. A swift death brings an early release. Perhaps in the next life, she might be reborn as a beautiful woman." My heart felt as if it were chained. Suddenly, a rubber ball rolled out from beside our feet and fell onto the nearby road. A little boy chased after the ball and ran into the street. Before I could even react, Zhou Ying, without a second thought, chased after him. "Hey, come back here, come back here," a car sped towards us. The screech of brakes echoed. Zhou Ying pushed the little boy out of the way. The car hit Zhou Ying. Her frail body was thrown several meters before hitting the ground hard. The little boy was completely unharmed. He was sitting on the ground, crying loudly. I rushed over and knelt beside Zhou Ying. I didn't know what to do. "Zhou Ying, Zhou Ying." Zhou Ying slightly opened her eyes. She smiled at me. Her face was covered in blood. I never imagined I would die saving someone. Very, very good. At least, the rescued person will like me. "Zhou Ying." I called the emergency number while crying. A hand was placed on my shoulder. A voice came through. "Don't worry, she still has a chance to live." I turned my head and saw that Lu Qingxue had appeared behind me without my knowing. He held the shattered jade pendant in his palm, saying she died because her lifespan was stolen. If she can reclaim her lifespan before she completely dies, she will have a chance to survive. My eyes welled up with tears. You said she couldn't be saved. That was before. If the person being saved wishes for her to live, she will regain her lifespan. Then there will be a chance of survival. Lu Qingshui sat down in front of the little boy. He asked, "Little one, that older sister saved you, do you want to save her?" The little boy nodded through his tears. "Yes, are you willing to share your life with her?" "Yes, I am." Lu Qingshui patted the boy's head. "Good boy." Lu Qingshui stood up, his expression solemn as he recited the incantation, "Spirits of the Four Directions, obey my command." A strong wind rose from the ground. The soul of Zhou Ying appeared indistinctly. She rose from within the body, looking at me hazily. "Shi Shang, why are you kneeling there?" She lowered her head and saw her own corpse, then panicked. "Have I died?" I was so flustered I almost choked. I grabbed her neck and pressed her back into the body. "Return to your original place." The light of the lamp was held in the palm of Lu Qingshui's hand, extending his index finger to poke Zhou Ying's forehead. After finishing, Lu Qingshui let out a light sign of relief. "Shi Shang, I have sealed her soul. Within 1 day, if her lifespan cannot be restored, she will die." "But, how should I restore it?" I asked anxiously. "Who should I find to retrieve it?" "You must rely on yourself to find it." "Me?" Lu Qingshui placed his hand on my shoulder, his eyes resolved. "Shi Shang, you have the strongest intuition in this world. Wherever you go, you will encounter them. Encounter supernatural events. I have a connection with all supernatural beings. These beings, whether intentionally or unintentionally, will gather around me. If you make an effort to search, you will find them." "I understand." I take a deep breath. The sound of the ambulance siren gradually draws nearer. I enter the city and retreat to a quiet place. I sit down cross-legged, performing an unskillful mudra. In the past, I always avoided interfering with ghosts, only wanting to be an ordinary person. But now I realize, there are responsibilities bestowed by heaven, from the spiritual realm, obeying my command. A strong wind rises from the ground, the sky gradually turned gloomy, dark clouds gathered from all directions in the sky, countless ghosts wailed and flew over. "Shi Shang, Shi Shang, Shi Shang." I threw the jade pendant into the air, remembering the breath of this item. "Within 1 day, find the owner of this jade pendant. Rest assured, we will find them. Shi Shang has ordered, find the owner of the jade pendant." The ghosts wailed and departed. For the first time, I truly felt, the ghosts were very endearing. Although they have frightened me since childhood, they still love me. I should be thanking them. I decided to change my mood, and try to accept them wholeheartedly. Lu Qingshui and I were in the hospital with Zhou Ying. The operating room lights were still on. The sky remained overcast as before. I anxiously checked my watch. There was only 1 hour left. Lu Qingshui held my hand. "It's okay, we will definitely find him." As soon as he finished speaking, a ghost flew in front of us, saying, "Shi Shang, we found him, it's a fox spirit." Half an hour later, Lu Qingshui and I arrived at an antique shop. A beautiful girl in a red dress smiled and walked out. "What can I help you find?" The ghost pointed at the girl, saying, "It's her." I was furious. "Hey, return Zhou Ying's lifespan to her immediately." The girl was stunned, frowning and asked, "Is it broken?" Lu Qingshui took out the shattered jade pieces. "This belongs to you, doesn't it? Also, allow me to introduce myself. I am Lu Qingshui of the Lu family. She is Shi Shang of the Shi family." The shop owner's expression shifted slightly, then she smiled again. "So what?" She and Zhou Ying entered into a fair transaction. She took out a piece of paper and handed it to us. "Take a good look, the contract is clearly signed." Did I clearly state all the consequences? Now, this is her signature, proving she was fully aware of the consequences of this transaction. I carefully examined the contract. The content was not complicated. It wasn't so complicated as to be incomprehensible. From the broad tone of Zhou Ying, it could be seen that she truly knew the consequences of using the jade pendant. I immediately thanked her, thinking that Zhou Ying was about to die. I couldn't help but burst into tears. Lu Qingshui glanced at me and then said to the proprietress, "Let's talk in private." The two spoke privately during the negotiation, and not long after, the two came out again. The proprietress smiled and handed the contract to me, then took a jade pendant from her bosom. "All right, I'll return her lifespan, Watch carefully. She threw the jade pendant forcefully to the ground. The jade pendant shattered. Countless specks of light flew into the sky. In a flash, they flew in one direction. That was Zhou Ying's lifespan. I took a gentle breath. Handsome man, you promised her something, you must fulfill it. The proprietress placed her hand on Lu Qingshui's shoulder, winking at him. Lu Qingshui remained silent, evading, and said to me, "Let's go." I quickly followed him out of the antique shop. "Esteemed guests, please visit my shop often," the proprietress called out from behind. I asked Lu Qingshui, "What did you agree to with her?" Lu Qingshui calmly looked at me. "It's nothing." "What do you mean, nothing?" I was very worried, in case Lu Qingshui traded something precious, but no matter how I asked, Lu Qingshui would not say a word. Rest assured, I exchanged an item she desperately needed, but it was useless to me. Lu Qingshui said, "If you really use something precious, I will demand compensation from you." I breathed a sigh of relief. Returning to the hospital, the operating room door opened. The doctor said, the surgery was successful. The patient had renewed her life. I joyfully hugged Lu Qingshui. Wonderful. When I sobered up, and realized what I had just done, I quickly let go of him, and took a step back. I wished I could find a hole to crawl into. Half a month later, Zhou Ying returned to school. By this time her popularity had significantly decreased. She apologized to others one by one, and returned gifts and money to them. Many people decided to forgive her. Overall, students are a group of people who are both naive and foolish, easily provoked and agitated, and also very quick to forgive others. They are honest, generous, humorous, willing to believe in the good things in the world, and easily forgive those who have made mistakes. These characteristics may seem foolish in the eyes of adults, but that foolishness is very rare. Advanced mathematics. As soon as I sat down, a voice came from beside me. "Can I sit here?" I replied, "Of course." Zhou Ying sat next to me happily. Long hair, white vest, ordinary appearance, noble temperament. "Thank you," she said. I opened the textbook. "No need to thank." Zhou Ying said, "Youth lives only once." I realized that perhaps others' affection is no longer important. I turned around and said, "If you want others to like you, you must first love yourself." Zhou Ying was stunned, smiled and said, "Don't worry, I will no longer deny myself." On social media, due to the negative public reaction to the Campus Belle election, Zhou Ying voluntarily withdrew from the contest. At the same time, she also recounted her past experience of being bullied at school. Screenshots of messages from her middle and high school friends, and generously posted the "ugly girl" certificate online for everyone to admire. The parents of the boy she once saved also came forward to speak, saying that she had saved their son. She is the most beautiful Campus Belle. Public opinion once again became favorable. Calling the ugly girl by such names is truly excessive. I fear it will leave her with lifelong psychological trauma. Some people are truly wicked. Although Zhou Ying's appearance is not as striking as others, because she was willing to risk her life to save someone, I am willing to cast a vote for her. On the other hand, she managed to reduce her weight from 80 kilograms to the current 42 kilograms, which is truly remarkable. Anyone who has ever lost weight knows how much willpower it requires. Appearance cannot represent everything. On what grounds can she be denied the title of Campus Belle? Countless people have spoken out and commented. Zhou Ying's reputation has gradually reversed. Those who previously insulted her for being ugly have had their true identities exposed, their photos posted online for everyone to mock. Oh my, this little girl looks like this, yet she dares to call others ugly? Doesn't she know to look at herself in the mirror? Yes, this fellow must weigh at least 100 kilograms. Yet she dares to call others a pig. She herself is the truly obese pig. Due to the incident involving Zhou Ying, the topic of discussion regarding girls' appearances has been hotly debated online. Many girls have lamented that modern society demands girls have fair skin, a slender figure, and a youthful face. Anyone over 50 kilograms is considered fat by everyone. In reality, human beauty is very diverse. It is not necessary to be fair-skinned to be beautiful. Some tanned complexions are just as lovely. Girls do not need to lose weight to the point where their legs are as thin as sticks. Healthy legs after a long period of exercise are also very attractive. A girl's appearance does not need to be cute and charming. A cool, mature style is also very beautiful. Girls do not necessarily have to be thin. some chubby girls are also very cute. Zhou Ying's reputation is subject to both praise and criticism. People cannot forget the mistakes she has made, however, the fact that she was once bullied at school also pains everyone. But regardless of whether people like her or not, now, she can calmly face everything. Mao Mao and I quickly started a live stream to play games. Mao Mao quickly asked me, "Shi Shang, have you encountered any good fortune recently? Your voice sounds full of vitality." I chuckled, "Yes, I encountered something good. Tell me about it." A friend of mine, she once fell to the bottom. Recently she has renewed her senses and stood up on her own. That's wonderful. In the comments, a flood of fans. Shi Shang is so good. Shi Shang is the best. Top donor gifted me 10 airplanes. After that, the wealthy bosses from rank 2 to rank 10 on the donor list also frantically sent me gifts. Thank you, big brother. Thank you, sugar mamas. I love you all so much. I happily showed my face and thanked everyone. Quickly change the interface and also give me gifts. Currently, she is the 7th richest woman on my donor leaderboard. Giving me gifts, the anti-fans frantically rushed into the live broadcast room, inciting and shouting. Why is this happening? Are you people crazy? Why are you giving gifts to a nobody? You can go watch other streamers, their skills are very good, and they are also very good people. If you have money, give gifts to them. Why give it to this Shi Shang? This Shi Shang not only has no skills but also doesn't know how to speak. What exactly do you like about her? Seeing the comments from the fans and Mao Mao's encouragement, I suddenly felt a lasting belief in ordinary people. Look, although I encounter demons everywhere in real life, on the internet, I only meet ordinary people. But not long after, a man cursed at me in the live stream room, tormenting me in the game to the point of tears and regret. I was speechless, and quickly asked Mao Mao what had happened, and I tearfully told her. She was very righteous and stepped in to defend me, but that man claimed to be a murderer, and threatened to kill us. I was so scared I panicked. If that guy dares to come here, we dare to kill him. HMPH, a mother mortal dares to threaten Shang. Truly a shameless fool, tired of living. When I went out to pour water, I heard the ghoul crowd gathering and chatting. Shi Shang, don't be afraid, we will protect you. A ghoul flew over and said, as long as that criminal comes here, we swear we will make him leave this place horizontally. I was confused. How did you know that criminal wanted to kill me? I didn't reveal anything about this. When Lu Qingxue came out of the bedroom, yawning, he said, your live stream room is very famous among the ghosts. Many ghosts are watching your live stream. HMPH, when Lu Qingxue observed me, didn't you know, my top-ranked player on the donor leaderboard is my familiar spirit. Seeing my fear, Lu Qingxue said, with my novice skills and my aversion to causing trouble, without support, how could I become a famous streamer? The long-tongued ghost happily said, Shi Shang, we are in the top 10. Please rest assured, we will work hard to earn money, and strive to become the second-ranked player. I, crying, ran into the bedroom and laid on the bed, feeling depressed. I thought all the viewers in my livestream room were ordinary people, but I never expected the top-ranked player on the donor leaderboard to be a familiar spirit. I dare not think about who or what ghosts are in ranks 2 through 10. I opened the livestream app and saw Mao Mao was dueling with a murderer. The host even clearly stated Mao Mao's address. I was extremely worried and privately messaged Mao Mao. Mao Mao replied, it's okay, not long after, that murderer died. In the news report, the girl she liked looked exactly like the girl who was abused to death a year ago. Could Mao Mao also be a ghost? I held my phone, tears streaming down my face. My closest gaming friend, my best friend, is actually a ghost. What a waste, I used to think they were all normal people. Lu Qingxue held his teacup, gently blew on it, and asked, isn't it clear yet? Seeing his demeanor, I got angry again. Hey, you said you were going to investigate the case of Lu Mingshen breaking into your house. Why do you keep staying at my place and not going out? Lu Qingxue's long eyelashes fluttered slightly as he calmly said, the investigation yielded no results. It would be strange if they did find something, he never investigates anything. Not long after, Mao Mao sent me a message, Shi Shang, thank you for keeping me company for the past year. You know my situation, your family are Taoist priests, and my kind are ghosts. We are not on the same path. Let's not meet again. Just as I was about to reply, I discovered that she had unfriended me. Scared to death, I continued my live stream, though I had lost much of my interest. Seeing a string of wealthy bosses on the donor list, I suspected they were all ghosts. So I focused on my studies, graduated, and moved back to the dormitory. Lu Qingshui continued to stay in the main room. In a university full of ordinary students, I, Shi Shang, should be able to live a normal life. I want to make friends with ordinary people, go shopping and eat together. Zhou Ying often invited me out, and I happily went with her. Those who knew I had been bullied at school were terrified, and even Zhou Ying was both surprised and flustered. I looked at her with gentle eyes. You are my friend, aren't you? After all, she is an ordinary person, a living, breathing human being. One day, Lu Qingshui appeared on campus. Zhou Ying said, Shi Shang, your boyfriend is here. He is not my boyfriend, I tried helplessly to clarify. Zhou Ying, Li Qing, and Fan Xiaoshui giggled uncontrollably. I walked up to Lu Qingshui. What are you doing here? Lu Qingshui said, I'm going home soon. I was stunned. Going home? Lu Qingshui nodded. After some time, I will come to visit you. My cheeks flushed. Visit? Visit what? I won't marry you. Don't you think our engagement is very strange? Marriage solely for the purpose of bearing a child prodigy is too bizarre. It is indeed very strange. Lu Qingshui said, however, I don't dislike you, we can give it a try. I immediately got angry. Try what? I do not agree. I turned and left. Oh right, I forgot to remind you. Lu Qingshui's voice slowly echoed behind me. Of the 3 friends you just had, one has died. Shi Shang, you've met a ghost again. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and a subscribe. Wishing everyone great fortune and prosperity. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on exciting videos.